The building had been standing since 1927, a grey mass of brick and rusted iron, wedged between two newer towers that made it look even older. Mara didn't choose it because she loved it. She chose it because it was cheap and quiet. At least, that's what the landlord promised. The elevator didn't work. It hadn't for years. So she carried her boxes up 6 flights of creaking stairs. Each step groaned under her weight, as if warning her to turn back. Her apartment, 6B, smelled of dust and something faintly metallic, not strong, just present. The kind of scent that never quite leaves. The walls were thick, painted over too many times. She ran her hand along the plaster and felt small, uneven bulges beneath it, like veins, like something trapped inside. She tried not to think about it. That first night, the city was quiet, unnaturally so. Only the low hum of pipes somewhere deep in the walls, and sometimes a faint tapping sound. Tap, tap, tap. She told herself it was the plumbing or the wind. Old buildings make noise, everyone knows that. But the taps didn't come from the pipes, they came from behind her headboard, from inside the wall. It started at 2:17 a.m. every night, as if on a schedule. Tap, 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 3 knocks, a pause, then 2. She tried recording it on her phone, but when she played it back, there was nothing, just static, and that faint metallic hiss again. By the 4th night, she was losing sleep. She moved the bed to the other side of the room. The tapping followed. Tap, tap, tap. It didn't echo. It came from one exact point in the wall, right above the outlet near the floor. She pressed her ear to it. Silence. Then, a faint rustle, like fabric. Like someone shifting their weight on the other side. She jerked back. The next morning, she went downstairs to the landlord's office. But the door was locked. A piece of tape across it read, "Out indefinitely." Strange. She'd just seen him the week before. He'd smiled, told her to give the building time to get used to her. She thought he was joking. That night, she plugged her phone into that same outlet. When she woke up, it was dead, completely drained, as if something had sucked the charge out of it. She tried another outlet, same result. She began to wonder what was inside those walls. By week 2, the metallic scent had changed. It was stronger, sour, like old meat left in a sealed box. She bought candles. She sprayed air freshener. Nothing helped. The smell came from the wall again, the same one with the tapping, only now the tapping had stopped. The silence was worse, because silence meant waiting. She pressed her hand against the plaster again. It felt warm, just slightly, like there was something alive behind it. She grabbed a small hammer from her toolbox, tapped lightly on the surface, hollow. Then a faint sound echoed back. Not the echo of the hammer. A reply. 2 soft knocks from the inside. Her heart froze. She stepped back. The air in the room felt heavy, thick. She didn't move for nearly a minute. Then she whispered almost involuntarily, "Hello." Nothing. That night she dreamed of narrow hallways, of peeling wallpaper, of someone standing inside the walls, whispering her name in a voice that wasn't human, but wasn't entirely not. When she woke up, her hand was bleeding. Thin, vertical scratches down her wrist, like she'd clawed at something in her sleep. The blood had dripped onto the floor, and when she bent down to clean it, she noticed a crack in the baseboard, a thin, black slit, just wide enough to see something behind it. She shined her phone's flashlight inside, wires, pipes, and something pale, She squinted. No, not pipes, not wires. Fingers. She didn't scream, not immediately. Her brain refused to believe what her eyes saw. 5 pale fingers, dry, still, pressed flat against the inside of the wall, like they'd been waiting there. She stumbled back, her flashlight flickered, and for 1 second she thought she saw the fingers move. She threw her hammer at the wall. The plaster cracked, a flake of paint fell away, and behind it more skin, pale, flaking, but shaped like a hand pressed into concrete. She ran downstairs, called the police. They came, 2 officers. They didn't seem surprised. They said, "Old buildings like this have stories." One of them chuckled. The other took notes, barely listening. They promised to send someone to check it out. They didn't. The next morning, the crack was gone. Smooth, as if it had sealed itself overnight. But the smell remained, stronger than ever. She thought about leaving, packing up, disappearing, but part of her couldn't, because now she needed to know what was in there, who was in there. That night she sat in the dark, staring at the wall, waiting. Nothing. She almost fell asleep in her chair when she heard it again, a slow scrape inside the wall, then a whisper. "Mara." Her whole body froze. It sounded like it came from right behind the plaster, not through it, inside it. The voice was calm, almost gentle, like someone remembering her name after a long time. She backed away, shaking, but the voice followed. "Mara, don't leave me here." She didn't sleep that night, or the next. She searched the building's blueprints online. The apartment had no shared wall with another unit, no crawl space, no access panel, but there was a small, sealed-off room between 6B and the stairwell. No door, no record of its purpose, just space. By dawn, she'd made up her mind. She pulled her furniture aside and took a crowbar to the plaster. Each strike released more of that sour smell, like something had been rotting for decades. She tore through until she found the wooden beams. Behind them, a gap, barely big enough to fit her head through. She aimed her flashlight. There was a room, small, dark, no floorboards, just dirt. And in the corner, a figure. It was sitting upright, knees to chest, skin stretched thin over bone, eyes open. But what made her drop the flashlight wasn't the corpse. It was the wall behind it. Names carved into the plaster, dozens of them, faint, scratched by hand. And one of them was hers. Mara. She stared, frozen. Then the corpse's head moved, just slightly, enough for dust to fall from its hair, and in that instant she realized the tapping, the smell, the whisper. It wasn't something trapped in the walls. It was something becoming part of them. She stumbled backward, gasping. The flashlight hit the floor and went out. Darkness swallowed her, and in that blackness, the voice returned. Closer now, right next to her ear. "Don't worry. There's room for one more." The plaster behind her cracked, and something cold brushed the back of her neck.